Your database is divided into layers. Your database is divided into layers. There are many layers. That means SAP database. When you install SAP, automatically SAP will divide your database space into layers. So there are many layers, but for the ABAP team, 3 layers are important. Application layer 0, APPL 0, APPL 1, application layer 1, APPL 2, 3 layers. So whenever we create any table, yesterday we have already discussed, not only yesterday, last 2 classes we have discussed, we won't create a single table. We'll always create multiple tables to store the data. Example, in the banking app, when we deal with banking app, we are saying that customer master data. Example, account ID, the name of the person, the country of the person, the city of the person, the gender of the person, etc. Personal details. We can store the personal details of the customer. Now, for every transaction, we need not store the personal details of the customer. So, we are creating one table where the data changes rarely or it will never change. Master data is a data which will change rarely or it will never change. So example, if you take all these scenarios, now bank account number, we won't give the same account number to anyone. Name, in general, people won't change names in general, but still there are some people based on astrology, they will add 2 more A's, 3 more A's, etc. Or some girls who after getting married, they will change the surnames. So actually you need not update the bank immediately. That's not a problem if you change the surname. After marriage, you can keep the same account, but still some people will change. So rarely these names will change. Now, similarly, phone number, gender, you need not change the gender every day. There are some people like Michael Jackson who keeps on changing. That's a separate issue, exceptional. That too, not every day, right? Yearly once or 5 years once they will change. So depending on your requirement, all this data changes very rarely. Only while creating the record, okay, we will verify whether all the data is correct or wrong. After that, when you go to some transaction, doing some transaction, you won't always go and check whether this is my name, this is my phone number, etc. Master data we don't access every time. So what SAP says is, whenever you create the master data, you won't access this data daily. So any data which you are not using daily, throw it in one side. That means store it in the lower layer. Master data. So master data should be stored in the lowest layer. Next, transaction data. Transaction data. You keep on accessing transaction data. Now some people will do shopping every day. So if you do shopping every day you will access this transaction. Account ID, transaction date, transaction time, transaction type, amount. Now olden days you used to withdraw the money weekly once or monthly once. But these days what is happening? You are connecting to your regular app. You are connecting your bank account to your app. Now for everything, for breakfast, for lunch, for vegetables, everything you are using the app. So how many times this table will be accessed? So regularly this table will be accessed regularly, or we call it as a frequently. So we call this as a transaction data. Transaction data keep in one place. That is application layer 1. Next, customizing data. Customizing data. That is nothing but settings. So what is settings? Whenever we create a table, we'll create some programs. Like account ID. Who is the account ID? What is the name? What is the country? What is the city, etc. Along with that, we'll say some save button, delete button, update button. So we'll create some programs. Now, who can use these programs? Who can use these programs? How does my program know who can use it? Example, The transaction program you can use to withdraw the money, to deposit the money, you can only control, you can use it. But to create an account, you cannot create account on your own. You have to go to the bank. So this program can be only accessed by a bank employee. This program should be only accessed by a bank employee. Now in a bank, there are different types of employees. We have something like as clerks, we have sweepers, we have watchmans, etc., managers, etc. Now all these are bank employees only. Now go to watchman and ask, because you are an employee, open my account. He can't. So who have authorizations? So example, clerks will have authorizations, manager will have authorizations. Now when these two people executes only, this program should work, else it should not work. So how does my program know? So somewhere we will specify some settings in some table, settings table. Don't call it a settings table. To make you understand, I am calling it developer, program, account ID, name, country, city. When developer say clerk 1 logs in into program 1, when the clerk 1 logs in into program 1, allow him to create, allow him to create, allow him to create, allow him to create. I am allowing him to create. When a customer like you, customer 1 logs in to program 1 only display, only display, only display, only display. Allow him to only display the data. So whenever you log on to any program, first it will check whether you have permissions to execute the program or not. If you don't have permissions, it will say you are not authorized. If you have permissions, then it will check what type of permissions you have. What type of permissions? Is it create permissions or display permissions? If it is display permissions, it will show you your data without enabling it. That means you can only see the data, you cannot change anything. But when clerks log in, you can create as well as change. So this is one more type of table we will create. So this type of tables are called as organization table, or also called as customizing table. Nothing but settings table. Settings. So important properties, technical attributes to be remembered while creating a table. So first one, data class. We call this as data classification. So based on the usage of data, data can be divided into three types. So what are the three types? First one, master data. Second one, transaction data. Third one, customizing data, or also called as organization. So store the master data. Store the master data in APPL0. APPL0. Store the transaction data in APPL1. Store the customizing table in APPL2. So if you are creating settings table, create in application layer 2. If you are creating transaction table, create in application layer 1. If you are creating in master table, application 0. Simple. You have a cupboard. Now you are storing your dresses. Now how will you store? So suits, sherwanis, etc., which you wear very rarely, you'll keep in one corner. And the towels or the regular bermudas, whatever we use, always will be in the top layer, so that you can easily access. You won't put bermudas, etc., on the bottom and put the suits, etc., on the top. Whatever you regularly access, you will be keeping it in the way you are daily accessing. Now let's assume you logged into an application. from somewhere, your mobile or internet or somewhere you have logged in. First, you have to give your user ID password. Based on your user ID password, the program will go and check whether you have permissions or not. So the first type of data which will access is customizing data. If you don't have permissions, it will come and display you the message, boss, you are not permitted. Or you can only display, you cannot change. Some message it will give. So whenever you are accessing any program, the first type of data will access is customizing data. So SAP says store it in the top layer. Now you have permissions. So it will go to the second screen. Now you are withdrawing the money or transferring the money. Then it will go to the transaction data and get the data and show you. Now daily you won't access the master data. If you access, it's a separate issue, but daily we don't access. So any data which is less important, store in APPL0, layer 0, layer 1, layer 2, that's it. So I am logging into SAP. I am logging into the SAP. Double click on it. User ID, password. User ID, password. Now go to tools, workbench, workbench, development, abap, dictionary. Tools, workbench, development, abap, dictionary. No one in the interview, they will ask explain the menu path. No one will ask you explain the menu path. Example, in the normal system, I want to open Word document. I can go to the Windows and search where is MS Office folder, and in that MS Office folder, where is Microsoft Word I have to search. So I like this, I have to search. I'm Microsoft, where it is Microsoft, where it is Office, okay, in this Office, where it is like this, you have to search. Instead of this, I will always go with WinWord shortcut. If I say WinWord, automatically it will be opened. So this bottom area is the command area for Windows. You can give a command if you want to open a notepad. If you want to open a Paint, MS Paint, like this we can open shortcuts. Similarly, SAP also has a shortcuts. So this is the command area. So this is the command area. If you see beside the tick mark on the top, command area. Now in the interview, will ask you the shortcuts. So the first shortcut what you are learning today is SC11. SC11 to create a table. Whenever you want to create a table, so we used to use data dictionaries. Anything you want to create in the database level, anything, we'll create tables, views, structures, etc. So anything you want to create in the database level, we have to go for data dictionaries. So the shortcut is SC11. So come to the no need to mug up the path. I am closing this. In the command area, SE11, enter. SC11, enter. So automatically it came to this screen. So no one will ask you menu paths. Don't waste your time in mugging up the menu paths. So now database table. Now already we have discussed all the objects should start with customer namespace. Every project will have their own rules. So we are creating the project with the rule Z. Z is our customer namespace. So if someone asks you what is a customer namespace, then you should tell that with which alphabet we should start our programs. That is called as customer namespace. So we are starting with a customer namespace Z. Now after coming to the companies, don't start with Z blindly. Check with your lead, your team lead. Go to the team lead and ask what is our customer namespace. He will tell you. So start with that customer namespace. If you create with any other alphabets, my system won't allow. My system is configured to use only two things, Y and Z. Y I am using for a separate batch, Z I am using for your batch. So Z, some name, any name you want, but give a meaningful name. As of now, I'm simply giving some test table. I want to create some test table. So I just gave test, create, create. Now we have not discussed this point. We will discuss this. We will discuss this. Come to the fields and we will give the fields, whatever fields I want. EID, name, city, phone, etc. Then the data types. Then the data types, numeric, character, character, the length, how much length you want. What is the length? What is the length? So in the first screen, we give the name. In the second screen, we give these two properties. In the third screen, we give the fields we want. In the fourth screen, technical settings. In the fourth screen, we are discussing about the technical settings, important technical attributes. So the first attribute we are seeing about data class. So if you come to the technical settings, now wantedly I'm not giving technical settings. Wantedly I'm not giving technical settings. I selected save, generate. I am setting generate, activate. I have not given technical settings, but still my program is going there. So without a technical settings, I cannot create a table. In SAP, without technical settings, I cannot create a table. So it's a mandatory, it's a compulsory thing we have to give. Without giving this, we cannot proceed further. So that's the reason we'll ask you why we have to give data class. You are telling the system in which layer the data should be created. The table should be created. The table along with the data should be created in which layer. Are you accessing this table daily or rarely? How you want to do this? So according to that, the system will store the data. So now if you select this bubble, there are many data classes: APPL0, APPL1, APPL2, DDAM, DFA, CAT, DODS, etc. But if you see the last one, dimension tables in BW, the facts table in BW, ODS in BW, there is one more module for BW, business warehouse. So the last one will be used in BW. The first three will be used in the abap. So the abapper should know only about the first three. So if you see APPL0 master data, APPL1 transaction data, APPL2 organization and customizing data. So now I want to store the employee data. Which category it becomes? Application layer 0. So I have to give application layer 0. So the first property is data classification. So this is the first property. Second property, size category. Size category. How much size of table? How many records shall I store in this table as a group? As one group, how many records shall I store? SAP is providing 10 size categories, 0 to 9, 0 including 0. So 0 to 9 are 10. So SAP is providing 10 size categories where 0 is the least, 10 is the highest, 9 is the highest. 9 is the highest. So example, in your company, there are 1,000 people. In your company, there are 1,000 people. So wasting the memory is waste. So if you see here, when I select this bubble, we have size category 0, 2, size category 9. Size category 0 to size category 9. So total 10 size categories. If you select this one, these many crores of records it will store. Now that much memory is wasted. I won't in my employee in my table that many employees are there. No. So what I am doing, I'm assuming my employee count is 1,000 roughly. So nearest one, I will take this one. Size category 0. Suppose I have 7,000 employees. 7,000 employees. Then I will take 1. I will take this one. If I have nearly 25,000 employees, I will take this one. Size category 2. In your company, how many employees are there? Nearest to that we will take. Now let's assume interview. This is one of the interview question. Example. So the interview question is, suppose size category 0 means 100 records. So as my employees are 70 employees are there. In my company, I have 70 employees. So automatically I'm taking my size category as 0. So automatically it will allocate 100 spaces, 100 record spaces, where 70 are filled. Remaining 30 are empty. 30 are empty. Now after 6 months, I got a huge project. So I hired 50 people. 50 people. So already 30 record space is there. So out of these 50, I can store in 30. What happens to the remaining 20? What happens to the remaining 20? Will it store or not? So actually what happens is, it's somewhat like this. Initially, it will allocate 100 record space. If this is filled, it will allocate one more 100 record space. But it need not be allocating in the same place. It might be somewhere. If this is filled, it will allocate one more 100 record space. So the SAP will started storing in the groups of 100, 100, 100 records. But if you create the records like this 100, 100, 100, when you are searching for record number, say 120, my system don't know where is that record. It has to search all this place, then it has to search all this place, then it has to search all this place. So searching will become slow. But when you clearly know in your company roughly 1,000 employees will be there or 500 employees will be there, if I create a size of 500, all the records will be stored in one place. So I can search the records in a much faster way. Data retrieval will be fast. So what SAP says is, create a bigger space. But don't create too big space so that memory is wasted. So whenever I explain this topic like this, people will say, sir, I'm still confused. So let's take a generalized example. Now, one company, say example, leave about, say MSET exam or MBA exam or CAT exam, some exam. Now, you have to submit your application. So they will give some date, say April 1st to, the site will be open April 1st to April 30th. These days we are submitting online. But olden days we used to fill the forms, fill the normal paper, and then we used to submit they will give you address, you have to send to the address or you have to go and give. So now they are taking one big cupboard. They won't throw the applications randomly. They will take one big cupboard and whatever applications they are getting, they will store in this cupboard. Last year, we got some roughly 60,000 applications. Now this year we are expecting nearly 80 or 90,000 applications this year. So I have taken a cupboard which can accommodate 1 lakh records. So I have taken one cupboard which can accommodate 1 lakh records. So now when the application comes, I will store it in this cupboard. So between April 1 to April 10th, I got 1 lakh applications. I got 1 lakh applications. So I assumed that maximum 70,000-80,000 records will come. So I've taken a cupboard of 1 lakh. But within 10 days only I got 1 lakh records. My cupboard is filled. Because my cupboard is filled, I will say, okay, from now onwards I won't take the applications. Because still 20 more days is there. So in 20 more days, some more application might come. So I can't say, sorry, my cupboard is filled, I cannot take. Similarly, SAP also cannot say, okay, my 100 record space is filled, I cannot take more. It will take. So after taking, where it will store? Will I throw these applications? No, I should not throw these applications. So what I will do, I will take one more cupboard. But in that room, there is a space for only 1 lakh, one cupboard. So because there is no space, I will say I won't store. Somewhere other place, wherever the space is there, we'll keep there. So again, the next 10 days, one more 1 lakh applications came. So in 20 days, 2 lakhs applications. Will I stop taking applications? Still I have time till 30th. So again, I will take one more cupboard. In this room also there is no space. So I am putting it somewhere. Now on 25th day, one person came and asked me, can you please give me my application? I forgot to attach some documents. He has to give. Of course, government offices won't give it, it's a separate issue. But officially, when someone asks his application, we have to give his application so that he will cross check and he can give it back. So now the person is searching the record. Where is his application? Where is his application? Where is his application? If he is lucky enough, he will get it first cupboard only. Or else he has to search here, search here. For his bad luck, the application is there in the last. Gone. So searching will become difficult here. But if I take a big space, I can arrange the data alphabetically or date wise. I will ask, okay, on which date you submitted? On that day, where it is, we can pick it. Or alphabetical order. Alphabetical order. But when I can do this, if my space is very big and all the records are stored in one place. If all the records are stored in one place, I can do it alphabetically. So nowadays we are not storing manually, but manual process applies here also. How you are storing, earlier you are storing in files, now also you are storing in files, database files. Software terminologies, database files. So now what SAP says is, ask your client. So your client knows, now you are working for ICICI. ICICI Bank knows how many employees they have. So they will give you the rough figure. This many employees are there. So nearest to that, whatever is there, take that. So as of now, I don't want to waste the memory. So I'm taking size category 0. Save it. So these two properties plays a major role. Note, whenever the allocated space is filled, SAP will allocate one more similar group. That means if you have allocated size category 0, 0 means 6,000 records. It will allocate one more size 0. That means one more 6,000 record space it will allocate. Multiples of 6,000, 6,000, 6,000 it will allocate. If you take a size of 1 lakh, when one that is filled, it will allocate one more 1 lakh applications, one more 1 lakh space. Note, don't create too many small groups. Data retrieval will be slow. So your program will become slow. So these are the two properties we have seen. Now one more property we'll see for today. Display maintenance. How you want to control the data entry into the table. Once the table is done, once the table is ready, now come back, save it, come back, activate. I think I have not given the key field, so it won't. I given. Now my table is ready. How can you say your table is ready? If it is active. If it is active, I can say my table is ready. Now my table is ready. I want to do the data entry. Utilities, utilities, table contents, create entries. Utilities, table contents, create entries. Now let's take this case. This is one SAP system for a bank. This is one SAP system for a bank. Okay. So now I am creating one ZZEMP table. EID, name, city, phone, basic pay, HRA, TA, DA, etc. Basic salary, house rent allowance, travel allowance, dining allowance, employee salary. So I created one table in my SAP system. Now, how many people can access this SAP system? How many people can access this SAP system? First one, employees of the bank, clerks, watchmans, everyone. Okay, employees can access the system. Second, customers, you also can access the system. Now you are logging into your bank and doing some transactions. That means you are accessing the bank details. Now, third one, now customers or employees has to use some programs. So developers will access this system. Developers. So developers will develop the programs. Those programs will be used by these people, customers and employees. Now to the developers who will explain the requirement, functional team, like SD guy, functional team, HR functional team, like this. Functional team will log on to the system. Basis team, admins can log on to the system. So these many type of people can log on to the system. Now, who should create employees? Who should create employees? Only HR should create the employees. Only HR can create the employees. But one person in sales team, logging into SAP and coming to this table, display, utilities, table contents, create entries. He is creating employee. It should not be the case. I should not allow everyone to create this entries in the table. So this property will control how you want to and do the data entry. So here we have case 1, allowed. When you say allowed, whoever have access to now simple. We need not create any program to do the maintenance. Create, change, delete, or display. Anyone can do the data entry in table level. That means indirectly you are going to an ATM center, withdrawing the money and opening the table and doing the data entry directly. In the table, you are doing the entry directly. No, you won't do the entry. If I ask you to do the entry, you will withdraw 5,000 and update 500 only. If someone asks you have withdrawn 5,000, why you are updating 500? Sorry, mistake. You are doing wantedly and saying sorry, mistake. So that's the reason the machine only will do the, in the machine you are entering some amount. So that amount will go to the table directly. That means the program is controlling the table entry. Now who can use the program? When you swipe, it is asking a pin. If you give the correct pin, then only it will take you to the next screen, else there only you'll stop. So if I create a program, I can control who can do the data entry. So if you take the property like this, I need not create any program. So what I can do, utilities, table contents, display entries, create entries. Anyone who have access to SAP will come and do whatever he want. So we cannot control the data. Now my HR has kept my salary as 5,000. I will log on to this system and change my salary to 50,000 or 5 lakhs, whatever. Who has done it? Everyone will say, I have not done it, I have not done it. So, first property, display maintenance. Display maintenance, allowed. So, I have taken it as allowed. If I say allowed, everyone can create the entries directly in the table level. Now, I am coming to the change mode. I am saying with restrictions. With restrictions, display maintenance allowed, but some conditions are there. Whenever I do any changes, see here the program became inactive. So we have to regenerate. So second option, case 2, with restrictions. For maintenance, we have to create a program to display. We need not create a program. Anyone can display directly in table level. If I create a program, what I will do, while creating a program, I will create multiple screens. So what I will do, I will create screen 1. In a screen 1, I will give you the logon screen or the pin number, whatever. If you give a valid data here, then only I will take you to the next screen. Somewhere I will maintain user 1 is allowed, user 2 is allowed, user 3 is allowed, like this somewhere I will maintain. Whenever you log in with your user ID, I will check whether your user ID is there in the table or not. If it is there in this table, I will show you the next screen. If there is no user ID in this table, I will stop. So if I can create a program, I can control who can use it, who cannot use it. So my maintenance, when I say maintenance, all this will come. So for creating and changing or deleting, I have to write one program. To display, I need not write the program. So right now, if you see here, I have taken the property with restrictions. So what happened here? Utilities, table contents, display is there, create is not there. Create is disabled. So for this table, right now I have to create one program. Example, who can do the transactions? You have a credit card. Now only you can do the transaction. You have to swipe the card and you have to give the PIN number. Then only the transaction will be accepted. Else the transaction won't be accepted. Now you went to shopping and done many shopping from morning to night. In the night, you thought that the balance should be 50,000, but the balance is only 25,000. So you got confused. So you couldn't able to recollect all the transactions. Then you can call the customer care, because the credit card transactions won't be shown in the statement immediately. But I want to know the status. So immediately what you can do, you can call the customer care. Now when calling the customer care, you are not giving the PIN number or anything, but still they are seeing all the transactions. So what they will do, they will come to this table level directly and they will say display, and they can see the contents. So they are seeing the contents without your permission. So anyone can see the contents. Now whenever you withdraw money of 50,000 worth, immediately you'll get a call. Immediately. Sir, now if you purchase 500, 600, they won't call you. But any big transaction amount is happening, immediately they will call you. How does they know? They are continuously monitoring this table. Any big transaction, immediately they will call to the customer and say, have you done this? Because these days frauds are happening. So the banks are taking this action. They will call you and ask you, have you done the transaction? If you have not done the transaction, they ask you to raise a complaint and they will block your card there itself. So this is what happens. So to control this type of tables, I have to create a program. How many programs? One program. Other program for displaying, I need not write the program. Next, third option, case 3. Case 3, not allowed. Not allowed. So, not allowed. Don't allow the user to do anything in table level. Everything is controlled with program only. That means we have to create one program for maintain. We have to create one program for display. For doing the data entry, whenever we create a table, one program for doing the data entry, saving to the data, one program to display the data, one program for data entry, one program to display. I have to create. Example, now as of now with restrictions. When I have with restrictions, if you see here, create is disabled, display is allowed. Now I am changing this property to not allowed. Activate. So how many programs you have to write depends on this property. Depends on this property. Now I said not allowed. So don't allow to user to do the data entry or display directly on the table. Suppose you are creating a password table. Now the customer care employee is coming to this entry and say display. What happens? So he can steal your password and he can do a lot of things. So who has taken the password? No one knows. So some cases, if they see the data, it will create a problem. So some tables should be very secure. Only authorized people should see the data. If you lose your password, even you can't see the password. You have to execute one program. The program will give you some hint questions. If you answer the hint questions correctly, then only it will be unlocked. Else it is locked permanently. So this is what happens. That means a program is controlling who should see. A program is controlling who should do the transactions, who should maintain. So if you create this type of tables, we have to create 2 programs minimum. So how many programs needs to be created will be controlled by this property. Okay. So now we have to see something called as delivery class. But This property will take some time to explain. So tomorrow we'll see the delivery class property. What is the purpose of this property? And then we will create the tables what we have analyzed yesterday. So whenever you are creating any table, these four properties are important. So what is the fourth property here we have to see? We have to see the fourth property, delivery class. But still we have not seen this. We will see this tomorrow. So explain the difference between data class, delivery class, or what is the purpose of size category, or what is the purpose of data class. Okay, what is the purpose of display maintenance? I want to create a program, but I want to create a table, but I don't want to create a program. Then which property shall I select? Like this they might ask you. That means we have to take it as allowed. So this is how we'll ask the interview. So during this course duration, we'll be explaining the theory, whatever is required, the case study, based on the case study, how to analyze it. Then we will explain you the project overall. Whatever we are learning, we'll club them all together in one project. So example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll learn four topics differently, and how to club all these four properties into one. We'll see in the fifth class. Like this, we'll be seeing in a sequence. So this sequence will take roughly 100 classes. Now one person came and asked, sir, yesterday's class I have not understood. Can you repeat? So example, I can create the table design with only one scenario, employee table over. But everyone cannot understand with one scenario. Still some people are confused with the key field. So I will be covering again one more scenario with banking. Some people won't be satisfied with that. So sales scenario. So every scenario, the logic will be changing. So I have to explain multiple 4 or 5 scenarios we have to explain. So some person after explaining 4 examples also, he said, I have not understood. I have to take one more class. I can't say no, it's over. So when we say 100 classes, if no one is asking revision, then 100 classes is over. But someone is asking some doubt and ask, can you please explain? I have to explain it again. So one more extra class. So depending on the doubts you have, some cases what happens is plus or minus what we say. We say plus, so that at least 10 classes will be like that. So 110 classes roughly. Sir, you said only 100 classes, sir. It's 110 classes means, who asked you to ask the doubts? Don't ask the doubts, then I will complete in 100 classes. So I cannot say that, okay, by this date it will be completed. I don't like to run, because I did the course like that only. I completed the course in 35 days over. But after to get a job, I struggled. So there are some batches which completed in 4 months. There is one batch which completed in 3 months, because their batch didn't like holidays. Sir, we don't want holidays, sir. Actually, all those are friends. 12 people are friends. So they all planned together and came to Hyderabad only for doing the course. So they want to complete the course as early as possible and leave. So what they did, their batch did morning 1 hour, evening 1 hour. Morning 1 hour class, evening 1 hour class. Morning, whatever they used to learn, by evening they used to practice. Evening, whatever we have to explain, by next day morning they used to practice. Only thing what they used to do is, they used to come to the class, practice, 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 nothing else. So that batch completed exactly in 2.10 days. How? So there is one batch which went for 9 months. 9 months. In that batch, all the people are very slow graspers, very slow graspers. So they initially, only in the starting, only after 1 week, they realized the toughness of the subject. They said, sir, please, can you go a bit slow? That means if some people, for some batch, if I cover 3 topics, so example, today I have covered 3 topics for your batch. For that batch, I used to cover 1 topic per day. 1 topic per day, slowly, because they have already gave permission. Sir, let's take some extra time, not a problem. We want to learn the subject strongly. So that batch took 9 months. So batch to batch, the way I teach, the topics will be the same, and we will always go with average speed. So you have seen last 3 class how I am going. In this pace only we'll go. If in this pace if we go, it will take 100 classes. If you further slow down, then automate. There is one more batch. After every topic, they will take 2 days leave. After every topic. Saturday, Sundays is a leave, but still they will take 2 more extra days leave. so that in those 4 days they want to complete everything and practice everything. The project, they want to develop everything and they want to see how much they know. And then again, next new topic. After reports, they used to take 4 days. After interface, they used to take 4 days. So what happens if someone sees from the outside, they will feel that okay, this batch is going for 6 months, 7 months. In the market, if you search my feedbacks, people will say tell the same thing. Srinivas will tell perfectly, course perfectly, but it will get dragged. If I complete your batch in 2 months or 45 days like other institutes, I will get more money. But I am not teaching here for money. I am already working in a company where I am getting a mind blowing package. As a technical architect, I am getting a very good package. So I don't require money here. And moreover, if I work for a freelance project, I will get more money than teaching. Who will shout like this? But I struggled. I know the struggle, how to get a job. So that's the reason we are teaching. Now some people, sir, fees is very high, sir. Now, if you want returns, you have to invest first. If you want a return, you have to invest first. Now, some institutes, what they will do is, yes, they will teach for 10,000, 15,000 only. What they are teaching in 45 days. So they are teaching for cheap. Are they teaching everything? First question. Okay, they are teaching everything. So abap 10,000. Then for the real project, they will charge 20,000. For OABAP, again they will charge 10,000. So part by part they will charge. But we are not doing like that. Now, if you invest the money, many of your seniors, till now I have trained more than 5,000 people. For a fresher, minimum to minimum package is 3.5 to 4 lakhs. 3.5 to 4 lakhs. That means in the first month salary you are giving to me, that's it. And one of your senior he has kept 3.5 years of experience. He has kept 13.5 lakhs package. That means nearly 1 lakh take home per month. So how much you are paying in 1 lakh first salary? Not even 25% you are paying to me. If you want the complete subject, you have to invest. That's it. So that's the reason I don't generally compromise, because we know how we teach. And I already challenge you, during the course duration, if anyone is teaching much better topics than us, always come back and take back your fees. If you can't understand and you are dropping, it's not our issue. We'll explain the same topic 10 times and 20 times. Every topic will be revised. If you come regularly, you can understand. But if some other institutes are teaching more topics than us, that institute is teaching these topics also, then come to me and take back your fees. That's the open challenge. No one is covering the topics what we will cover. So thanks for listening these classes. But in general, we will only have to give demo. After demo, you have to pay the fees. But some people will feel that okay, demo is always good. So we want some more classes. People always ask, sir, can you give me one more extra class for listening? So that's the reason I'll always give 5 classes, 2 demos plus 3 classes. So now whoever want to continue, they can register. Okay. That's it for me for today. Any doubts? Abdul,
So
please
can we
follow
change,
this. Yes. Yes.
so can we change the size category once we have done program?
Now let's take this case. Now this is one place, one site, one area, say Amirpet. Now here your father has want to purchase a flat. So what happened? He has purchased a flat of place for 200 square yards. Because you are a middle class person, so you have the money to purchase 200 square yards. You purchased at that time. All the space is free. This is empty. No one has constructed any house yet. So the broker is saying, increase the place, buy better 400 or 500 square yards place. You can construct a bungalow in the future. But your budget, because of your budget, your father can only afford 200 square yards. So he constructed the house. So 5 years later, you started working. Now automatically your salary is in lakhs. So now you can afford a big house, big bungalow or villa. but in 200 square yards we cannot construct a big villa, we can construct a house, that's it. So now you want to expand, but in this 5 hours someone has already purchased it. Now what you can do, from them you can take over and then break it and then expand. Or we cannot extend our space automatically, we cannot break the other houses continuously by expanding. So the same thing happens here. When you create a table, in the meanwhile some other tables will get created here, table 1, table 2, wherever the place is there, the table 2 is created. Now if you want to extend, we have to break this table. So automatically the table will have an impact. Because of your table, other tables will have an impact. Can I do that? Yes, you can do it. Not a problem. You can give money to them and pay the buy the site and break it. But in the table level, the entire data, once you break this table, what happens? The data will be lost. So that's the reason what we say we should not do. Can we do? Yes, we can do. Immediately if you are doing it, suppose today morning you purchase 200 square yards house, okay, by evening you can extend it. That means when you are creating the table freshly, we can extend it. But after 2-3 years, if you try to extend, there might be some more tables which got created in that place. So what happens? Those will have an impact. The data might be lost. So we should not do it. But for your question, can we do it? Yes, we can do it. But in real time, as per the standards, once the size category is fixed, we don't change it. So initially plan and accordingly take it. Is this clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Okay. So from tomorrow, the link will get changed. So Nani will provide you the link. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Sir,
Yes.
real-time projects are
If someone says real-time project, they are fooling you. Now, a company, ICICI Bank, ICICI Bank, the project worth of minimum 500 billions. Now, how a person, how a institute can give a 500 billion project to you? So there is nothing called as real-time project. If any institute is saying that I am giving real-time project, it is a fool. What we do in real time in my project right now, I am working for a project called as say DAO. In our project, what we do, we are giving those assignments and making you to do. So almost it's a real time. What I am doing it, the same thing I'm making you to give. But I'm not saying you are working on a real time project. You are not working on a real time project. I am working and I'm making you work on those objects. Now once your course is over, now depending on which consultancy you are putting, what experience you are putting in that company, whatever project is happening, you can put that name. Example, you are saying that I am working for Accenture. I am working for Accenture. You can put something like this: I am working for a Ferrero project. So in which company you are showing as experience, that company project you have to give. If any institutes are saying I'm training you on real-time project, is a fool. I'm not training you on a real-time project. I am training you on whatever projects I have done. Those objects I'm making you work. Similar environment. That's it. Is this clear? SAP
yes, sir.
projects are not 1,000 rupees, 2,000 rupees projects like our college projects. So it's a big company, enterprise, big company. How can someone give you a big company project to you as a fresher? No one will give you. If someone is giving you, it's a fool. They are fooling you. That's it. So we call it as hands-on real time. So I understand the terminology. We will show you, we are giving you practice on how the things will happen in real time. Okay. Thank you. Catch you tomorrow and thanks for listening. And it'll be good if people who didn't like anything, you can send a mail with your feedback. I can improve myself. Sri.hanaabap at gmail.com. 8121285459 WhatsApp. And you can refer your friends if you like my way of teaching. Next month in September first week we'll start one more new batch, so you can refer them. Thank you.